Richard Roth and Rahul Manchanda. They both join us here in studio. And Rahul, during his testimony, Kavanaugh said that the term Renata alumnus was a term of endearment for the woman in his high school yearbook. He said that Ralphing referred to vomiting, but not by alcohol, by spicy food. And he also said that he never blacked out when he was drunk. Do you believe him?
Well, look, you got to look at the context of the situation, also the cultural situation back in the day. I mean, this is the 70s and 80s. This is a completely different generation. And it seems to me that the goalpost is moving farther and farther and farther to the preposterous. We're getting to a point now where we're questioning the lexicon of children almost, or teenagers, about what they mean.
We're talking, though, about his testimony to the Senate. So the question becomes, Richard Roth, even if he was lying about what his drinking terms were some 37 years ago, why should that matter?
That's exactly right. It's not about what he did back then. Obviously, he was in high school, but the issue is, was he lying to the Senate Judiciary Committee? Why does it matter? Because the number one thing they want to keep is his reputation, is his integrity, is the fact that he can be a fair and impartial judge. If he's sitting there, the way he treated some of those senators, if he's sitting there and he's literally lying, not telling the truth, then he should not, he should be thrown off, quite frankly.
But there's a different definition of what a lie is.
There is, but if you see, several women have been interviewed, several, on different networks over the last 3 days, and every single one of them said the guy drank excessively, he vomited excessively,
and
I can't believe in his stuff. All of them were his classmates. Is Mark Judge going to admit that he raped a woman 30 years ago? That's not really the best evidence.
There's a massive distinction between normal common parlance and slang, urbandictionary.com sort of, if you will, words. I mean, the Oxford Webster dictionaries exist for a reason. There's an urban dictionary as well. There are certain words out there that nobody knows what they mean. If you were to ask me, for example, about what certain words mean, like Ralphing, nobody knows what that means.
Well, when I was in high school in the 1980s, Ralphing was very clear that it was alcohol related. He said it was because of spicy food, and that the reason that he named that he was the Ralphing leader beach week because of spicy food?
Even state to state. I mean, look, the private school circuit, the public school circuit, there's different cultural norms here and there. In Connecticut, there's certain words, biffing, boofing, Ralphing. Nobody really knows what this means.
Let's be very clear.
To be very blunt with you. And there are certain words that are definitely defined, pretty standard, Oxford, Webster dictionaries. These words are just, high school words. Nobody even knows. Still today,
but everyone knows what happened here. What happened here was we thought we had a really strong candidate, the Republicans did, being actually potentially ordained to be as United States Supreme Court. And all of a sudden,
nobody knows what happened.
All of a sudden, Ford testifies, and Ramirez comes out, and the third woman, Swetnick, comes out. And all of a sudden, this issue, which no one thought was a big issue, is a monstrous issue.
At the 11th hour.
Exactly. At the 11th hour, you know what? We are trial lawyers. Things come out at the 11th hour all the time. What do you have to do? You don't say FBI go, play the game, beat the clock when you're in the 80s. You don't beat the clock in 5 days.
Credibility was
do an investigation.
His credibility was questioned several weeks ago when it came time to whether or not he knew about some of the stolen emails when he was White House counsel.
The man had 6 background investigations.
And he had a calendar. You have your high school calendar?
6.
You have
not
your high school
1,
calendar?
not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 FBI investigations.
You're right. And that's
incredible.
And the problem is none of those investigations.
The 7th one will be good. I mean,
related to women accusations, not one of them. And all of a sudden, this came out, and this didn't come out of people who have a political agenda.
Ford, that's a farce.
Do you think they have an agenda?
There's been some information that there was a political agenda at work here.
But here's the question, Richard, and that is, there is a federal jury instruction that if you believe a witness has lied about anything, you can discount the veracity of their testimony and other things. But we're not talking about a jury trial. We're talking about whether the Senate can use whatever standard it wants.
A material fact,
in advise and consent.
I agree, and you're right. And the Senate will do what it wants to do. But the point is,
but you don't think it's material whether or not he was drunk when he says that he never I mean, that's
material.
That's material.
That's not a material fact. Of course,
it's material. Ford says that he was drunk when he attacked her.
Dave, the point of your question is you're questioning the veracity. If you have to question the veracity of a Supreme Court justice, they should not be a Supreme Court justice, period. These people, there are so many judges out there that have impeccable records. This guy right now, he's like kryptonite. Kryptonite Kavanaugh. Nobody wants to be near him.
He's only kryptonite because there's a lot of money and power behind making sure he doesn't get in. The fact of the matter is, each and every alcohol
There's a lot of money and power behind him getting in.
Consumption is a part and parcel of the American culture. And in fact, in the law business, look at the movie The Verdict with Paul Newman. For God's sake, that was all about an attorney with alcohol. The bottom line is, alcohol is a part of American culture. It's a part of the college experience,
high
school experience.
It's not about
to indict a man. Why not be honest about it? say, look, I did some things. I broke the law, of course, but I did
Why not admit he blacked out? Why not admit the other women who've
He
been on
hasn't
the air?
admitted to blackout. He said he didn't
No,
do it.
he accused the senator. He said, have you ever blacked out? She's not up for office.
No, that's not admitting that he blacked out. That's a man who is indignant and offended by the questioning.
What I call skirting the issue.
And by these
skirting the question.
questioning.
That's what it
He
is.
didn't
And that's a man who's
say,
being a
I
human
never
being.
had beer.
He's
That
being
would have been
human.
a
He never
lie.
blacked out. He
But
said he never blacked
he
out.
liked beer.
That
That's
he
fine.
liked beer. He liked beer. And he
He
drank a
liked
lot of
beer.
beer.
We like
99%
beer.
of Americans like beer, apparently.
Yeah, but there were also a lot of high school students who made different choices. Attorneys Richard Roth and Rahul Manchanda, thank you both for coming in. Good to have you. Still ahead, soccer